My brother told the family I stole Grandpa's inheritance. He forgot Grandpa had installed cameras before he died. When my grandfather passed away, the only thing I wanted was to get through the funeral without seeing my family fight. Grandpa hated arguments, and he'd always joked that if money ever came between his grandchildren, he'd come back just to haunt us. 3 days after the funeral, we gathered at his house while the attorney read the will. Grandpa had divided everything fairly between his 3 grandchildren. Nobody complained until my older brother, Eric, suddenly stood up and shouted that nearly $90,000 in cash Grandpa kept in his home safe had disappeared. Then he turned toward me and said, "You were the last one here. Where's the money?" Every head in the room slowly turned toward me. Within 24 hours, half my relatives believed him. My aunt stopped answering my calls. My cousins started posting passive-aggressive quotes about betrayal online. Even my mom asked if I'd taken the money because I was struggling financially. I couldn't believe I had to defend myself against my own family. The truth was I'd been helping Grandpa after his hip surgery for almost a year. I had access to the house because he trusted me, but I'd never touched a dollar that wasn't mine. Still, once people hear someone accuse you of stealing from a dead relative, they rarely wait to hear your side. The attorney advised everyone to stay calm while the bank records and estate inventory were reviewed. Eric acted like he couldn't wait. He kept insisting the police should search my apartment immediately. The harder he pushed, the stranger it felt. Grandpa had been meticulous about everything. He labeled old photographs, organized receipts from 20 years ago, and even kept instruction manuals for appliances he no longer owned. It didn't make sense that he'd leave that much cash lying around without some kind of record. A week later, the attorney called and asked us all to meet at Grandpa's house again. Sitting in the living room was a small security company representative holding a laptop. Apparently, 6 months before Grandpa died, someone had tried breaking into his garage. After that, he'd quietly installed security cameras, covering every entrance to the house and the hallway, leading to the office where the safe was hidden. Nobody in the family knew because Grandpa didn't like making a fuss about things. The technician pulled up footage from 2 days before Grandpa passed away while he was still in the hospital. The video showed Eric letting himself into the house using the spare key Grandpa had given him years earlier. He walked straight to the office, opened the safe using the combination only close family members knew, filled a black duffel bag, and left 20 minutes later. Nobody in the room said a word. Eric tried claiming he'd only been protecting the money, but the attorney calmly asked where he'd protected it. Then another video played. It showed Eric stopping at a storage facility across town that same afternoon. The attorney already had the rental agreement. The storage unit was in Eric's name. Police obtained a warrant the next morning. Inside the unit, they found the duffel bag exactly where the footage suggested it would be. Nearly every bundle of cash was still there, along with several pieces of Grandpa's jewelry that no one had even realized were missing. When detectives questioned Eric again, his story changed 3 different times before he finally admitted he'd planned to return the money after convincing everyone I'd stolen it. Once I was cut out of the inheritance, he intended to discover the cash later and become the family's hero. The apology tour started almost immediately. My relatives who'd ignored my calls suddenly wanted to meet for coffee. My aunt cried when she admitted she'd never questioned Eric because he'd always seemed more responsible. My mother hugged me so tightly, I could barely breathe and whispered that she'd failed me when I needed her most. I told her the hardest part wasn't being accused. It was realizing how quickly people who claimed to know me accepted a lie without asking a single question. A month after everything was settled, I went back to Grandpa's house one last time before it was sold. His old recliner was still sitting beside the window, where he'd drink coffee every morning. On the side table was a handwritten note I'd somehow missed before. It simply read, "Character isn't revealed when people believe you. It's revealed when they don't." I folded the note, slipped it into my wallet, and smiled. Grandpa had been right. The money was eventually recovered. My reputation came back, but I never looked at trust the same way again. Sometimes the person trying hardest to make you look guilty is only hoping nobody notices where they're hiding the truth. Would you have forgiven your family after they believed the accusation without any proof, yes or no?